This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 258, How Frugality Buys Freedom, Spend Less to Live More, Part 2, by J.D. Roth of MoneyBoss.com. And I am Dan, your host here on Optimal Finance Daily. I'm here every weekday reading to you from some of the best personal finance blogs on the planet. We put them into podcast form so you can take them with you on the go. And this is a continuation episode today. It's actually a two-part post, which I started yesterday. So if you have not heard Tuesday's episode yet, that's episode 257. You should probably go back and check that out first. And some of the concepts that JD talks about in this post go hand in hand with a free gift that we give away to you if you're part of our weekly newsletter email list at oldpodcast.com. So if you are not part of that already, definitely visit us online at oldpodcast.com and put your email address in there. I'll explain all of this at the end of the episode. So for now, sit back, relax, and let's get right to it as we optimize your life. How Frugality Buys Freedom, Spend Less to Live More, Part 2, by J.D. Roth of MoneyBoss.com. While most people trade time on the job in order to gain money, this concept can also be applied in reverse. It's also possible to trade money to buy time. For instance, I pay an accountant to do my taxes. Not only is he better at this than I am, but it takes him 2 hours, whereas it might take me 20. In this case, I'm happy to trade my money to free up more time to write. Here's another example. When Get Rich Slowly was growing like gangbusters, my hourly wage was astronomical. At the peak, my time was truly worth hundreds of dollars per hour. Back then, I had more money than time, so it made sense to outsource whatever I could. I hired a housekeeper, I paid somebody to do yard work, I had an assistant who answered my email. Meanwhile, I channeled my life energy into making more money. Today, however, my hourly wage is effectively zero. Yes, my investments throw off some income and I make a few $100s per month from my book and the Get Rich Slowly course. But in reality, I don't have an income. Now, because I'm financially independent, I don't need an income. But today I have more time than money. As a result, it makes sense to do things myself whenever possible. I don't have a housekeeper, I do whatever car maintenance I can, I answer my own email, and so on. How Frugality Buys Freedom. All of this is interesting, but we still haven't talked about the most powerful product of realizing that time is money and money is time. When you spend less, you can work less and live more. In a very real way, frugality buys time and freedom. You can see this idea at work on two levels. First, because of taxes and compounding, $1 saved is worth more than $1 spent. As I mentioned earlier, you buy things using after-tax dollars. If you bought a new $23,000 Mini Cooper, for example, you'd use money left over after paying the government. But in order to get that $23,000, the average American would have to earn $30,000. The other $7,000, in the form of 5.5 weeks of work, goes to taxes. But it gets worse. Every time you spend $1 you could have invested, you don't just lose that dollar, but any future return you might have earned on it. Assuming typical stock market growth, $1 would have a value of $1.93 10 years from now, and $7.20 in 30 years. When you combine the effects of taxes and compounding, the results are remarkable. On average, each dollar an American spends represents $2.57 of value in 10 years, or $9.57 in 30 years. If you live outside the U.S., the consequences of spending that dollar are probably even greater. The bottom line, the opportunity cost of spending $1 today is $10 you might have had in retirement. By carefully guarding your dimes, you turn them into future dollars. There's a second way in which frugality buys freedom time. As you know, I believe profit margin or saving rate, the percentage of your income that goes to saving and investing, is the most important number in personal finance. Profit doesn't just remove the wall of worry from your life, but it also buys time, both now and in the future. When you spend less today, you need to earn less today to fund your lifestyle. It takes less time to earn enough to support $20,000 in annual spending than it does to support $40,000 in annual spending. Obvious, right? But many people fail to see that their lavish lifestyles are the reason they have to work so much. Spending less also means you need to save less for the future. It takes just $200,000 to fund 10 years of a $20,000 lifestyle, whereas it takes $400,000 to fund 10 years of a $40,000 lifestyle. When you learn to live on less, when you keep your profit margin high, you gain the freedom to work less. By maintaining an ambitious saving rate of 50 or even 70% in your 20s and 30s, you can retire when you're 40 years old instead of 65. This gives you 40 years of freedom to do what you want with life rather than 15. With a profit margin of 20%, it takes 4 years of work to fund 1 year of operations. With a 50% margin, you save enough every year to fund another entire year of operations. And at 75%, each year of work funds 3 additional years of operation. When you choose to spend less or to not spend at all, you're not just boosting your bottom line, you're also gaining the time and freedom that would have been required to earn that money. Thrift isn't deprivation, it's wealth. The bottom line: frugality is not sacrifice. When you save, that money's still spent. It's just not spent on a Mercedes or a big house. It's spent buying your future freedom. The opportunity cost of starting late, a foolish purchase, or a bad investment isn't lost income or lost compounding. It's lost time, lost experience, and lost life. Ultimately, work-life balance is about managing the way you use both time and money. In some cases, your time is more valuable than money, but often it's your money that's worth more. If a new iPad is worth 20 or 40 hours of your life, buy it. Otherwise, do yourself a favor. Delay the purchase. Hold on to that money so you can retire sooner instead. Quote, "Between depriving a man of 1 hour from his life and depriving him of his life, there exists only a difference of degree. You have done violence to him, consumed his energy." Frank Herbert, Dune Messiah. You just listened to part 2 of the post titled How Frugality Buys Freedom, Spend Less to Live More by J.D. Roth of MoneyBoss.com. Now, yesterday in part 1 of this post, he talked about figuring out your true hourly wage and what specific things cost you in terms of hours of your life spent working. Well, this is a lot easier to do if you're tracking all your income and expenses, which is something that Justin over at Optimal Living Daily has been doing for 7 years now. And his Excel spreadsheet is something that we give to you as a gift for free if you are part of our weekly newsletter. It also comes with a handy free video tutorial that walks you through everything. So if you don't want to build your own spreadsheet, just sign up for our email list at oldpodcast.com and you will get it automatically. Or for an even faster way to join, just text the word financial to the number 44222. That's the word financial to 44222, and you will be glad you did. And that's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow with a post about diversification from our friend Ramit Sethi. So stay tuned for that on Thursday, where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more from incredible bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, Mark and Angel, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, we'll start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Finance Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.